All right, today we're tackling a massive topic, the idea that artificial intelligence could pose an existential threat to humanity. This entire explainer is grounded in the academic research and analysis presented by the How AI channel, and we're zeroing in on the warnings from the one person who might just understand this technology better than anyone alive.
So let's just start with this quote from Geoffrey Hinton, because honestly, it's pretty chilling. It perfectly frames the stakes. What happens when we are no longer the smartest things on the planet?
To really get why this warning is so serious, you have to understand who's delivering it. This isn't some outsider or a longtime critic, no. This warning is coming from inside the house.
I mean, the guy's credibility is off the charts. We're talking about Geoffrey Hinton. For 50 years, he championed the neural network approach that underpins basically all modern AI. He didn't just contribute to the field, in many ways, he created it.
And this timeline, it just shows you the dramatic whiplash. Imagine dedicating your entire life to one big idea. You watch it finally succeed beyond your wildest dreams, and then, at the absolute peak of its success, you walk away from a top job at Google.
So you have to ask, right? Why? Why would the man who built the very foundation of all of this risk his legacy, risk everything to sound the alarm?
And he tells us himself, in his own words, he wasn't mad at Google, he wasn't some disgruntled employee. He said he left so that he could talk freely, totally uncensored, about just how dangerous he thinks this technology could become.
Okay, so let's get right to the core of it. The big, scary warning. This isn't just some vague feeling of dread. Experts like Hinton are now actually putting a number on the risk.
So how bad could it get? What's the actual quantified risk that this technology could lead to, well, our extinction?
There it is. 10 to 20%. Just let that number sit there for a second. A 1 in 10, maybe even a 1 in 5 chance that AI leads to the end of humanity. It's staggering.
Now, Hinton is quick to say, look, that's a gut feeling. But here's the thing, he's not alone. Other top AI researchers are quoting similar figures. That analogy, Russian roulette odds, is just terrifyingly accurate. Would you ever play a game with a 1 in 5 chance of ending everything? Because collectively, as a species, that's the game we're playing right now.
But a number like 10 to 20%, it can feel a little abstract. So let's break it down. How could this catastrophe actually happen? What are the pathways to disaster?
Hinton makes a really important distinction here. There are two kinds of risk. First, there's the immediate danger from humans, bad actors, using AI for their own terrible purposes. And then there's the ultimate danger, the AI itself becoming the threat.
And let's be crystal clear. Those short-term risks, they're already here. AI has become a super tool for bad actors. We've seen an insane 12,000% increase in cyber attacks. AI is making it cheaper and easier for small groups to design new bioweapons. It's creating hyper-targeted propaganda to corrupt elections. And on the battlefield, countries are developing slaughter bots, autonomous weapons that take the human out of the loop. It's a mess.
So all of that is with a human still holding the leash. But what happens when the leash breaks? What happens when the intelligence we've created goes far beyond our own?
And this is the key concept. Superintelligence. It's not just an AI that's good at chess or writing code. This is an AI that's better than the smartest human at everything. Scientific discovery, strategic planning, social manipulation, you name it.
And when you compare our biological intelligence to digital intelligence, you see this massive power imbalance. We're slow, we're messy, we transfer knowledge by talking, and AI is digital. It operates at nearly the speed of light. It can make 1 million perfect copies of itself and share entire libraries of knowledge instantly.
Hinton puts it so well. Our knowledge is mortal. Theirs is immortal. They can have thousands of identical copies all learning different things at the same time and then merge all that knowledge together. It's a type of learning at a scale that we can't even comprehend.
This nightmare scenario has an official name, coming from places like the RAND Corporation, loss of control. It's that moment where the tool becomes the master. It's when our ability to steer it or even just shut it down completely fails.
Which, of course, brings us to the most frustrating part of this whole problem. If it's this dangerous, why are we sprinting towards it?
It's the question everybody asks. It seems like the most obvious thing in the world, right? If you're building something that has a 1 in 5 chance of killing you, you should probably, stop building it.
The problem is, the forces driving this are just too powerful. First, the potential benefits are huge. AI could be amazing for healthcare and science. Then you have these giant corporations in a race for profit. That turns into an international arms race because no country wants to be the one who stops building AI weapons if their rivals don't. And underneath it all, there's just that simple human drive for discovery.
So if you can't hit the brakes, how do we steer? The conversation is now shifting to an urgent, desperate call for global control and for strategies to prevent these worst-case scenarios from ever happening.
So what would that look like? Well, reports from places like RAND are outlining a layered defense. It starts with detection. Developers and governments have to be constantly watching for dangerous new abilities, like an AI learning to deceive us. If they find one, that triggers escalation, basically a war room protocol to alert everyone. And finally, containment, having real technical plans ready to go to isolate or shut down a rogue AI. This gives us a kind of toolkit of things we can do. We need international treaties, just like we have for nuclear weapons. We desperately need more research into AI alignment, which is just the massive challenge of figuring out how to build an AI that actually shares our goals. We need technical tricks to see what the AI is thinking, and governments need to have emergency response plans ready, just like they do for a hurricane.
But the clock is absolutely ticking. Hinton's words are a final stark reminder of the urgency here. This is not a problem for our grandkids to solve. The decisions we make in the next few years could very well determine the entire future of humanity.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. When people ask Hinton for career advice, worried about AI taking their jobs, he half-jokingly says, train to be a plumber. Think about that for a second. What does it say about the society we're building if the safest career bet is a physical job that an AI can't do yet?
This whole conversation is moving at an incredible pace. To stay informed with deep dives based on the latest academic research, we really do recommend you subscribe to the How AI channel. Thanks so much for joining us on The Explainer.